What is up? Good morning, Yankees universe. KOD Nation, KOD Media, stand up. You degenerates, wake up and get your coffee. We are here, another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew, this Thursday, June 9th. Good morning. I know it was a tough loss. But we're here, right? So let's talk about it. Let's take these moments as our little therapy sessions amongst each other. Salute to everybody, like I said before. Salute to everybody who's watching on Instagram Live. If you're on Instagram Live, click that link that's in my bio. Jump on over to the YouTube world and have this conversation with us. But yeah, a tough loss, but we're here, and let's get through it, together, as a unit, as a team, as a familia, as Vin Diesel says. But before I touch on anything, there's one point that I want to get one point that I want to get across. And shout out to my guy Kev, BX Sports Jedi, because this is something that we touched on yesterday. But my guy, I miss you so much. It's okay. Even the Avengers lost That's right. Even the Avengers lost a few fights here or there, just a few. But Gio Urshela, play it again. I miss you, Gio. And yesterday goes to show us why Gio Urshela is such a valuable player, defensively and offensively. A few balls to right field. It kind of felt like he was picking on Giancarlo Stanton, knowing that he's out there in the outfield and just deciding, you know what, I'm just going to get him. This is perfect. This is what I was looking for. Good morning, Keith. In order to win 120, we got to lose 40, right? Absolutely right. Absolutely. And last night's loss was one of those games that's going to go down when you lose 40 or 50 or 60 games in the season. That's just how it is. Nestor Cortez, he was good through the first 3 innings, the first 9 outs. But then in that 4th inning, the Twins got to him. I said this yesterday, going against the Minnesota Twins will be our first real test of the season. After the Minnesota Twins, after this next series coming up, we have a stretch of about, I think, like 12 or 15 games where we play the Rays, the Astros, and the Rays again. And in that type of combination, I'm not really sure. But hey, we have some tests coming up. We had a light schedule to begin the season, the first quarter of the season. I never want to hear people say, oh, it's because of your schedule. Listen, the season's the season and the schedule is the schedule for the reason. Everybody has their own schedule. Everybody has their own division, however you want to put it. Both the Yankees and the Mets lost. The Mets, their lead and the NL East is shrinking. My guy Worldwide L. Shout out my guy Worldwide L. And for the love of the game, L was talking about this yesterday. I couldn't respond. But yeah, the Mets lead in their division is shrinking. The Atlanta Braves, a lot of people counting them out early in the season. Sean, what is good, my guy? Listen, Sean, click that link in the bio. Jump on over to the YouTube world and join the conversation. And Sean, if you're free right now, no pressure. Let me know if you're free. I'll put the link in the chat and you can join the combo on the panel. But yeah, the Mets lead in the AL and the NL East is shrinking. The Braves is getting their stuff together. Giancarlo Stanton was being picked on yesterday in the outfield by a few of the Twins, Gio Urshela, a few other ones, but Giancarlo Stanton, if I was making the lineup card, he just came back off an injury, I would have waited a little bit, especially in Minnesota with that big outfield. I'm really not too sure, what was the thought process behind it. I know you want to keep Josh Donaldson's bat in the lineup, but Josh Donaldson has been struggling somewhat coming back. So I would have rested Josh Donaldson. let Giancarlo Stanton be the DH, have Gleyber Torres at second, and DJ at third. But that's just me. I'm a little bit different than Aaron Boone. But yeah, this team last night, it was just flat. Nestor Cortez, like I said, 3 good innings. That 4th inning, he got hit around. The Yankees offense they didn't answer the bell. The dinner bell was rung, and they just didn't answer the call. Shout out my guy Worldwide L. I want to go to the game Saturday. Listen, Worldwide L, we try to make that happen for you, player. Don't worry. This Saturday is the FCF championship game. If I was in Atlanta, I'll be down there for sure. But being stuck in New York City, I got my pink polo on today, because I'm getting ready for vacation within the next week or so. So I'm wearing a pink polo. But yeah, yesterday's game, it was just flat. Like Keith said, in order to win 120, we got to lose 40. And that's one of the games we're going to lose. My man Proto, what is good, Matt? This team's so talented that they're 40-16 with Boone as a manager. Absolutely. I think Boone is like, when you play MLB The Show, right? And you can simulate a season. I think Aaron Boone is that generic manager that they just put in there. You put your team together and they just need a generic manager just to control the simulation. And that's what Boone is. But no, realistically, us Yankee fans, and I've said this multiple times, over these past 22 years, we've been spoiled. We've been consistent. We haven't won a championship since 2009. I know a lot of people want to point that out. But if you and I keep saying this, if you was to take the Milwaukee Brewers and give the Milwaukee Brewers the success that the Yankees have had these past 22 years, their fan base would take that. Playoffs every year, minus 2 or 3 seasons, championship in 2009, but us Yankee fans, we hungry. I'm greedy. I want to be fed. I need a championship this year. And we have 40-16, best record in baseball, first team to 40 wins. It kind of looks like, a Subway Series is being set up. My guy Worldwide L is not a fan of the Subway Series, because he says that other people who follow the sport of baseball don't follow it. Wouldn't be into it that much. But honestly, me, when you look at the rivalry that Subway Series, just the fan interaction, the trash talking. One of my friends from high school, Drew, I was going back and forth with him yesterday in IG, sending some DMs, and he was one of the best trash talkers I knew in high school growing up. I remember he's a diehard Met fan. In 2006, when the Mets got eliminated from the playoffs and Carlos Beltran struck out, I went to school the next day thinking I was hot. I was the hotness, going in there to trash talk. But Drew wasn't having that. He shut me down real quick. But no manager will ever top Joe Torre for me. Listen, growing up, right? And this is how I looked at that situation. I never thought that it will come a day. I knew it would come, but I didn't realize the reality of it until it set in. Growing up, my childhood, when I was watching the Yankees, it was Joe Torre. He was all I knew when it comes to major league managers. From 96 and on. I didn't start watching fully until like 2003, 2004. But even from then, 2003, 2004, I had Joe Torre every year. It wasn't until Girardi came in 2008. But I didn't think Joe Torre would go and manage another team. I thought he would finish his career with us here, retire as a manager, and go on and do other things. It was weird for me to see him in that Dodgers uniform. It was weird, honestly. I'm not going to lie, But hey, it's the nature of the business. It's the nature of the beast, right? And like Jigga Man said, Joe Torre will always be the GOAT. He will absolutely always be the GOAT. But before I continue, I brought this up yesterday, but I had Kev on, and we got into some great conversations. So I really wasn't able to do the deep dive like I wanted to. But yesterday, I wanted to have this conversation when it comes to Joey Gallo, right? Because as a Yankee fan, I want to see Miguel Andujar up here with the Yankees. So if the Yankees front office is so big into these analytics, I did my homework You know, I wiped the coal out my eyes this morning. Let's dig deep into the analytics. He said the Subway Series is only appealing to New Yorkers. Yeah, yeah, but honestly, when the World Series is around, and if the Yankees aren't in it, I'm tuning out. I'm not watching it. Like last year, I know when the Braves were in the World Series, it was okay. I had it on. You know, that you see, the rest of the country could care less. That was my attitude when the playoffs came. I could care less, last year because the Yankees got eliminated. But to each is their own. I would love to see a World Series, Subway Series. That's just me. I feel that baseball, it's at its best when both the Yankees and the Mets are 1-2. When both the Yankees and the Mets are good, I feel that's when baseball is at its best. For the simple fact of you're going to have your Yankee fans. The Yankees have their core group of fans that are in their main diaspora, I should say. But with those core group of fans, you have also the bandwagon fans, right? You got bandwagon fans that come out of the woodworks to be Yankee fans. But it's just like with the Mets. The Mets have their core group of fans, right? And then out of that core group of fans, they got the bandwagon fans, right? So when you have the Yankees and the Mets in the World Series, the Yankees are so hated on that the Mets will get such an influx of bandwagon fans, not just because they're the Mets, because they're going against the Yankees. And a lot of people love to root against the Yankees. But into these Joey Gallo stats, let's go. Now, when you look at Joey Gallo, right? Let's look at his launch rate, his launch angle, because this is one of the analytics that they love to point out when it comes to like Joey Gallo or any of these Yankee players. If you live and die by the analytics, these are one of the good stats that you like to point to. Launch angle. So for Joey Gallo, when he had his best seasons in 2017 and 2018, 40 home run seasons. In 2017, he had a launch angle of 23 degrees, right? 2018, it went down just a little bit to 22 degrees. And this year, 2022, Joey Gallo's launch angle is 18 degrees. So he has taken a dive of 5 to 4 degrees when it comes to his launch angle. That's just one stat. Second stat, not more of a stat, but his batting stance, right? Joey Gallo's batting stance. If you guys watch Joey Gallo's batting stance now, you guys notice that he keeps his hands down here, right? Right down here. If you were to look up footage from 2018 and 2017, Joey Gallo's hands are right here. If you're somebody who's played this game, if you're somebody who like to listen to coaches or just like former players break down hitting like I do, you understand that when you have your hands right here, you are already in the path of hitting. You're already in the motion. This right here gives you your shortest direction to the ball, the least movement. If you have your hands down here, you start them here, and then you got to bring them up and bring them down. In 2017 to 2018, when Joey Gallo was doing his thing and his damage, his hands was already starting here. They were starting in the path of the ball. But when he has them right here at his chest, he has to bring it up and he has to go back down. So that little bit of time, that 1.5 seconds, 1.7 seconds it takes for him to rise his hands up and bring it back down, that could be a big contribution into why he's struggling, why his launch angle is not the same, why his strikeout rate is almost the same, but it's a little bit higher. Let's go into it just a little bit more. Now, let's look at his fly ball percentage. Because one thing about Joey Gallo, he hits the ball hard, right? Normally, when you hit the ball hard, when you hit the ball like down in the zone, however you want to put it, you normally induce ground balls. That's not what Joey Gallo does. He hits the ball hard, and he gets fly balls out of it. So let's look at his fly ball percentage. 2017, he had a fly ball percentage of 37.9% of the time. 2018, it went down just a little bit to 37.2% of the time, right? But now look in 2021 and 2022. Last year, when we traded for him, his fly ball percentage was down. It was 36.8. This year, his fly ball percentage is 34.7. So he's taking a drastic drop off when it comes to his fly ball percentage, putting the ball into the outfield. When you look at his breakdowns and the strike zone, he's swinging more at pitches that are high on the inside or low on the outside. He's swinging more at pitches out of the zone than he's ever done in his career. Normally, he was a bit more selective, but now he's swinging at almost everything. Keep going. Now, his topping percentage, right? The topping percentage means when you hit the ball on the top, inducing ground balls, right? So his topping percentage is 26.3%. It is up from his previous years. In 2017, his topping percentage was 14. 2018, 2017, 19.4. 2018, 18.4. And in 2022, it's at 14. Now, when you look at his ground ball percentage, when it comes to topping, for ground balls, it's 32.9% of the times. Fly balls is 36.8% of the times. And the line drives is 22.4% of the times. It's deep diving into analytics right now. His exit velocity, let's look at his exit velocity. 2017, it was 19.3, which is solid. 2018, 94.3, solid. 2019, 94.8. Oh man, he's hitting the ball hard and out. The ball's coming out of his bat. The exit velo is where you want it to be at. But in 2022, Joey's Gallows exit velocity is 88 miles per hour. It is the 29th percentile in all of Major League Baseball. Now, his strikeout rate when he was with Texas those first few years was 36%. His strikeout rate this year is 38%. So it's almost the same. It's a bit higher this year. But his on-base, his OPS, on-base plus slugging, that's what it takes the biggest dive. While he was with the Texas Rangers, his OPS was 833. With the Yankees this year, his OPS is 663. That is a huge drop-off, huge. And it goes to his barrel rate, right? His barrel rate in 2017, 22.1. His barrel rate in 2018, 22.5. 2019, 26.4. That is awesome. You see, it has a trajectory of going up in his career. But then we go to 2022, and his barrel rate is the lowest it's ever been in his career. 17.1% of the time is his barrel rate. Now, I need somebody who is sitting in this Yankees front office, right? I need somebody who's sitting in this Yankees front office to really have the conversation with me. I want you to break it down. Why Joey Gallo will be a better option in left field than Miguel Andujar. Shout out to Miguel Andujar as well, who he reported to Scranton Wilkes-Barre. You know, he was a bit upset about his demotion to the minors. He was very vocal. He spoke to Hector Gomez. If everybody know, Hector Gomez is the Ken Rosenthal to the Latin community. And he let it be known that he wants to be traded. Gary Sanchez came out fully supportive of this, fully supportive of his friend and his former teammate. And it looks like Gary Sanchez went out of his way to point out certain issues when it comes to Miguel Andujar. He pointed out how Miguel Andujar worked on his defense, worked on his ability in the outfield. He's a hard worker. Anything they asked him, he did. I was a bit taken off, not taken off. I was a bit pushed back when I saw Gary Sanchez's comments, but then I realized that Gary Sanchez and Miguel Andujar has known each other since they were teenagers, right? We all understand that this is a business. Us as fans, we just want to root for our favorite players. We understand that. We get that. But you got to understand there's a human element that's at play also. If you guys follow John Boy Media, go on any of his social, go on YouTube, go on Instagram, Twitter, he put out a video of Gary Sanchez interacting with his former teammates. And Gleyber Torres literally looked like a little kid that didn't want to let go of his big brother. That's exactly what it looked like. He was bear hugging Gary Sanchez. It literally looked like he didn't want to let go of his close friend. I understand it's the nature of the industry, it's the nature of the beast, but sometimes it's a bit tough. I would have loved to keep Gio Urshela, right? I wish Gary Sanchez had the opportunity here with the Yankees to be a full-time DH, but it doesn't work out. And that's just how it is. Shout out also to Clint Frazier, who got an RBI single a couple days ago with the Cubs, his first RBI of the season. He's coming back off of, that concussion that he caught with us a few years ago has really haunted him. It's really taken away his baseball ability, but he's coming back. The Cubs is giving him a chance. They're being patient. Let's see what Clint Frazier could do over there in Chicago, over there on the north side of Chicago. But it was a tough loss, a tough loss. So let's get into it. Let's take this deep dive. I know I've been prolonging the agony. I've been prolonging it. It's like when you have a cut and you don't want to put the alcohol or the peroxide on it. I'm prolonging it. I know, but let's do it. Let's rip this Band-Aid off together. All right. Look at the Twins first. So when it comes to the Twins, Byron Buxton and Carlos Correa, I'm take some time on them. If you guys were watching, the game yesterday on Yes, I'm not sure how everybody watches this, but if you guys were watching the game on Yes, there was a good breakdown of Carlos Correa talking about Byron Buxton. Carlos Correa came out in full support of his teammate and said that Byron Buxton is the most talented player in all of Major League Baseball. Carlos Correa said, I've played in a division with Mike Trout. Byron Buxton is more talented. He said, I've played with so many talented teammates. Byron Buxton is the most talented. He said, nobody throws the ball like Byron Buxton. Nobody fills their position like Byron Buxton. He said, nobody hits the ball as hard as Byron Buxton. And if you guys remember, Byron Buxton has been a prospect for years with the Twins. Always been a prospect. He's put it together these past couple of seasons, but that's because he's been healthy. And the Twins are doing their best that they can to keep him healthy. I'm in full support of what Carlos Correa said. Byron Buxton is a talented individual, probably the most talented baseball player in all of Major League Baseball. So so whatever Carlos Correa was saying yesterday, I'm 100% on that train and in full support because Byron Buxton is a talent. Super is. But when you look at it, Byron Buxton, 2 for 4. Carlos Correa, they had him at the DH last night, coming back from injury. He was 1 for 3. You got Polanco, the second baseman, 0 for 3. Gio Urshela, the former Yankee, who broke my heart last night. Gio was 2 for 4. You got Juan Miranda, Jose Miranda, the first baseman. He was 3 for 4. Max Kepler, the right fielder, was 1 for 4. And the left fielder, Celestino was 0 for 2. The catcher, Jeffries, was 1 for 4. And Nick Gordon, the son of Flash Gordon. You guys remember Tom Gordon with the Yankees? His son was a shortstop last night, and he was 0 for 4. A little good story when it comes to this man. Oh, let's see what my man Keith said. He said Buxton is not the most talented player in baseball. He said this is coming from the man that said the captain didn't deserve any of his gold gloves. I see that argument, right? You know, and one thing that I hate to admit, Keith, and do not come for me when I say this. When you look at the advanced stats, right? When you look at analytics, and this is something that's goes back to 1972, 1973, the stats for these players. When you look at the stats and how they measure out, Derek Jeter is statistically the worst fielder ever at the shortstop position in Major League Baseball since the 70s, since the stats. You know, and that's one thing that like the stat guys like to pull out against Derek Jeter. Us Yankee fans, we've seen it with our own eyes. You know, the eye test means a lot. You know, like I said, Keith, do not kill me for saying this. You know, I agree. I've loved Byron Buxton, and I feel that he is talented. But now back to the Twinsies. Chris Archer, the former Tampa Bay Ray. You know, Chris Archer has some good stats against the Yankees, and it goes back for some times. It's probably been 1 or 2 starts that the Yankees got the best of Chris Archer, but for the most part, Chris Archer has you know, he pitched his best games against the Yankees. Against everybody else, don't know what it is, but against the Yankees, for some reason, he turns it up a notch. But Chris Archer last night, he pitched 5 innings, and in those 5 innings, he's given up 2 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. You got Jax, who came in afterwards, who pitched the inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. You got Pagan, who came in as well, one inning, no hit, 1 run, no walk, and 2 strikeouts. I'm gonna try to pronounce this name as best as I can, guys. Please bear with me. Shout out to my guy Ron, SKF, still Knick fan. Salute. He said, if that is true about DJ, what does that say about the shortstops in the league during his time? Yeah. Like I said, it's not a talking point, or it's not an argument. It's not a thing that I love to back. It's just one of those stats that make you scratch your head like, wait, what? But when you do the eye test and you go back on the footage and you see the miraculous plays he made, and I'm not sure if it's just baseball magic sprinkled into it, but Derek Jeter is not the worst of all time. You know, I hate when people bring that up, but that's a trust me, Keith, I'm with you right there. Energy level. DJ is our guy. But Chris Archer was the winning pitcher yesterday, 1-2. Ron, what's up, bro? These Mets, we gotta keep hope alive. You know, they've been struggling. They got some injuries. Marte, Alonso went down. For some reason, everybody likes throwing at the Mets now. It's become the cool thing to do now in baseball, to throw at the Mets players. I'm gonna need some retaliation from our guy Buck Showalter. I'm gonna need him to get fired up. I'm gonna need him to get thrown out one of these games. But now on to the Yankee side. It was putrid. 4 hits all of last night. And for some reason, one of the garbage pail kids, Aaron Hicks, was 2 for 3. 2 for 3. But listen, Ron, we're just talking about it. It's going to be a Subway Series this year. Worldwide L, my guy Worldwide L is not too big into the Subway Series, but I feel there's going to be a Subway Series this year, Ron. DJ LeMahieu, the third baseman last night, was 0 for 3. The unnamed captain of the Yankees, Aaron Judge, was in center field. He was 0 for 3. Antonio Rizzo, the first baseman, he was 0 for 4. Giancarlo Stanton, the artist formerly known as Mike Stanton, the right fielder who was being picked on out there in the outfield, he was 0 for 3. Josh Donaldson was 1 for 3. Gleyber Torres was 0 for 3. The garbage pail kid, Aaron Hicks, was 2 for 3. Isaiah Falefa was 0 for 3, and Kyle Higashioka was 1 for 3. Now, I know I was just joking around with Aaron Hicks and the garbage pail kid situation, but listen, Aaron Hicks, he's 9 for his last 22. He's played a lot better in left field than he was in center field. He threw out Gio Urshela at the plate last night, you know. So Aaron Hicks, if he could do something to make me shut up, I'll stop talking about him. But Aaron Hicks and Joey Gallo, I keep saying it, they are fighting for their baseball life. And if we could get anything for Aaron Hicks, a low-level minor leaguer, I'll take, if you guys have a vending machine that we could use for the Tampa Bay Tarpons, I'll take that. Whatever we could get for Aaron Hicks is what I want to get for Aaron Hicks. Let's see. Oh, my God. He said, have you seen if the playoffs started today brackets? Teams are of the wild card teams are of course the Blue Jays, Rays, and the Dead Sox. Yeah, and that's the thing about our division, Keith. Right? And I was saying this yesterday. The Mets are in the worst division in baseball. I take that back because the Braves are turning it up. But when you look at the wild card and how is it laid out, I love this new aspect that Major League Baseball has going on with the 13 teams and the 12 teams, the three wild card. I love it. I just feel it just makes it better as a whole. It's a better product out there. But when you look at the wild card breakdown, you got the Yankees who are leading their division, and then the wild card teams will literally be the Blue Jays, the Rays, and the Red Sox. Right? The Red Sox, a month ago, people were talking about them blowing it up. But John Heyman yesterday, he came out and said that the Red Sox are turning that around. That they're gonna try to go for it. If they have to make some moves, they have to make some moves, but they're gonna try to go for it. You got JD Martinez, who's gonna be a free agent this year. That was somebody that I was saying that the Mets should trade for, make him their full-time DH. That's an option as well. You have the former Yankee Evaldi, who's going to be a free agent after this year, and Xander Bogaerts is going to opt out of his contract this offseason. You got Rafael Devers as well, who Midope is a big fan of, but Rafael Devers is going to be a free agent also. So Boston has some questions that they need answering to. And just like the Yankees, right? I'll get into the Yankees and what I want to talk about with Aaron Judge after this. Let me just finish this breakdown. Now over to the pitchers. Nestor Cortez, Jameson Taillon the day before only went 4 innings. Nestor Cortez was like, I will one-up you, and I will go 4 1/3. So Nestor Cortez went 4 1/3 yesterday, 7 hits, 4 runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Clark Smith came in after him, and Clark Smith was a victim of bad defense, which led to bad pitching. The first 2 outs should have been easy, but it wasn't. Giancarlo Stanton, like I said, was being picked on in right field, but Clark Smith, he pitched the inning in 2/3, gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Manny Benuelos, one of the former Killer Bees, he pitched 2 innings, 1 hit, no run, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. So Manny Benuelos came in after Clark Smith, and it was all, it was a punt game. We were just giving it up. But now let me talk about something real quick. Aaron Judge and the Yankees. It is June 9th, Thursday, June 9th, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Yankees have an arbitration meeting coming up with Aaron Judge, June 22nd. This is the first time that arbitration is done during the season. Why do I bring this up? It's because the Yankees are going to argue at arbitration that Aaron Judge should get paid $17 million for this season, or $19 million for this season. Aaron Judge has come out and said that through his representation, he wants 22 in arbitration. With the season that Aaron Judge is having right now, the Yankees need to figure this out and figure this out before June 22nd. His contract extension should, and I'm hoping it gets handled before arbitration. You do not want to go into arbitration during the season and get into this bickering back and forth with Aaron Judge. With the season he's having right now, he's on pace for 65 home runs. If he gets hot, he could knock on the door on Barry Bonds' record. It will be a special September. It will be a special first season of the Yankees Morning Brew if Aaron Judge could come close to that. But guys, this is mostly to the Yankees front office. What are you doing? You have to figure it out. You have to sign this man. You have to give him his extension. I understand that you may feel like you don't want to. You know, it's not the Yankees way, but listen. We are in our Lord and Savior's base God, the year 2022. You need to throw out that old mind of thinking, whatever the Yankees way is or was, throw it out the window. I understand this is not George Steinbrenner's Yankees, and the money doesn't flow out there like the money flows out there. But in 2022, you cannot go to arbitration with Aaron Judge during the season. In 2022, with the season he's having right now, his contract extension should be wrapped up before this arbitration happens. If you're going to go to arbitration with him, instead of that 17 or 19 million you was going to offer him, and he wants 22, just throw him 25. Throw him 25 as a nice gesture, and say, like, listen, I know we wanted to give you 17, 19. I get that. You wanted 22. We'll give you 25. And hopefully this will just hold us over until we reach this off season to have this contract talk, this extension talk. But you cannot go to arbitration trying to lowball Aaron Judge. Because if you do, it's going to hurt us in the long way. We're going to shoot ourselves in the foot as an organization, and the fans will let you know what happens. I know I've always said, and I've joked around this with Jigga, how I love the name on the front of the jersey, not the back of the jersey. But with this year that Aaron Judge is having, that back of the jersey, I'm loving that. Back up the Brinks truck and sign this man. But let's just take a breakdown real quick. Let's go around the league before we look at tonight's game. And also, the Boston Celtics, they beat the Warriors last night. There's a little fishy stuff going on. But what can you expect from a Boston team, right? The NNR hour, what is good, my guy? Salute. Listen, bro, if you're free, click that link in the bio. Jump on over to YouTube. I would love to have you on a convo, bro. I will send the StreamYard link to you, and you can jump up on. If not today, DM me and let me know. We'd love to have you on. But that Boston team yesterday was just proving that for some reason, the teams in Boston, you just can't trust them. You know, get in the car and dip off. But before the game, while the Warriors were warming up, some of the Warriors players noticed that the rim just looked a bit off. That it just looked a little bit off, a little bit off. They brought it to the attention. Yeah, just let me know. Shoot me a DM and we'll set it up, brother. They brought it to the attention of the officials. The officials, they got together. Somebody got out their tape measure, and it showed that it was off by half an inch to an inch, height-wise. Whether it's deflating the footballs, whether it's ordering food for other players, however you want to put it. Listen, we're watching you, Boston. We're watching you. I have an interview coming up soon with MLB. Listen, you have an interview coming up soon with MLB Network. Listen, bro, I'm putting all that good energy in the air for you. I'm lighting a couple candles. I got some sage that I got over there from the Botanica and from Indigenous Peoples Day. I will do everything I can to put best wishes and good energy going your way. You know, you deserve it. You've been putting work in this before I even got on Instagram and social media and started doing this. So best wishes, and I hope everything works out for you, brother. And keep me updated as well. Let me know what happens. You got it, bro. Trust me. Pin this right here. I'm pinning this comment. I'm pinning this comment. I want my man to have all the good luck. And let's go blue. Yes. Let's go blue shirts. Let's go Rangers. Absolutely, Keith. I know you was walking by the watch party. You probably should have stood there. You probably would have brought us a good energy, because whenever Keith is at the Yankee games, they always win. We're gonna have to catch one soon. But shout out to my guy, the NNR Hour. You know, he has an interview coming up with MLB Network. I'm praying that he gets it. My man has been putting in the work. He's been putting in the groundwork, doing everything he has to do. So shout out to my guy. Hopefully that comes through for you, brother. But taking a step around the league, let's look real quick around the league in Major League Baseball. When it comes to the standings, even though the Yankees lost, we still got a 7-game lead on Tampa Bay and Toronto for both that. Give me 1 second. My apologies. But yeah, 7 games on both Toronto and Tampa, which is solid. 162 games. You're going to lose 40 to 50 to 60 games in a season. Last night's game was the perfect example of a game that you're going to lose. You can't win them all, right? You're not going to lose them all. But last night was a perfect example of a game that you're just going to lose. If I was a betting man, I would have took that bet, honestly. But going down further into it, Minnesota, first in their division at 33-25. Cleveland is right behind them at 26-26. Houston Astros, they're still cooking, 36-21. The Angels, they're on a 13-game losing streak. They got the New York Mets coming into town. So hopefully the Mets can keep beating up on those Angels. But the Angels are 27-31. The Texas Rangers are starting to heat up. Marcus Semien, the big signing this offseason, he had 2 home runs within his first 51 games. And in the past 4 games, he has 3 home runs. Well, he has 4 home runs in the past 3 games. Yeah, that's what it is. So hopefully Marcus Semien turns it around and the Texas Rangers heats it up. You know, there's talks that the Texas Rangers and the Miami Marlins are working out a deal for one of the Florida Marlins top pitchers. And if you're a Marlins fan, this is upsetting, because it's like, how many times can your team reboot itself, you know, turn itself over, flip a player for other players, and it's still a constant, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? For years, the Tampa Bay Rays, it took them years before they figured out their franchise philosophy, and it's been working for them. I remember growing up, especially watching baseball 2003, 2004, the Rays were like the laughing stock of the league. They were the bottom of the bottom. You know, the front office was always getting criticized, missing on first round picks, and the not drafting good, and you know, but they hit that niche and they just kept going. Once they figured out their philosophy, once their players all turned out to be, you know, stars at the same time, they put that pedal to the gas, and they haven't pulled up since. But over to the National League, the Mets, which have the best record, they lost yesterday against the Padres. They're 38-21. The Atlanta Braves, the World Series champion, the defending champion, they're 3 games over 500. They're turning it around at 30-27. So the Mets need to watch out. The Mets need to watch out. They blew a lead last year in the division. Hopefully it doesn't happen this year. But both the Mets and the Yankees are 7 games above their opponents in their division. You got the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers are 33-25, still in first place. And then you got the St. Louis Cardinals right behind them at 32-25. Then you have the rest of the NL Central with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Chicago Cubs, and Cincinnati Reds. The Reds have been turning it around for like 3 games in a row, but then they turned out just to be the same old Cincinnati Reds. Over to the West, the Dodgers are 36-20. The Padres are 1.5 games behind them at 35-22. And you still have the Giants still in there at 30-25. So this National League race is going to be good, especially when you break down the wild cards, like Keith brought up earlier. In the American League, you got Tampa, Toronto, and Boston, 1, 2, and 3 for the wild card. The 3 teams that are right on their tails are the Cleveland Guardians, Chicago White Sox, and LA Angels. So even with the Angels going on a 13-game losing streak, they're still in there. You know, it's kind of tough with Mike Trout. You know, Mike Trout has been injured like these past few years. Let's look at it real quick. But it's tough, man. It's not gonna lie. Without Mike Trout, that Angels team it's really not a high potent offense. But like my guy Jigga Man said yesterday, when you got both Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout in the lineup, you need to be doing better. Phil Nevin, the former Yankee third base coach from last year that set a record with runners being thrown out at home plate, he's taken over as the interim manager for the rest of the year. Hold on 1 second. So, wishing him best of luck. I'm not trying to totally bash on him, even though it was horrible last year. But one thing I want to point out, Mike Trout in 2022, Mike Trout has played 52 games so far. Last year, Mike Trout has played 36 games only for the season. 2020, shortened season, I get that, played 53 games. If you go back to 2017, he played 114 games for the season. Why do I bring that up? So let's just look at Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge this year has played 1 more game than Mike Trout. But last year, Aaron Judge played 148 games compared to Mike Trout's 36 games. The year before that, in the shortened season, Aaron Judge only played in 28 games. Mike Trout played in 53 games. The year before that, Aaron Judge played in 102 games. Mike Trout played in 134 games. So there was a lot of Yankee fans that were trying to compare Mike Trout and Aaron Judge last night on Twitter, talking about how Aaron Judge has played more games than Mike Trout. And I just wanted to put that to bed right now before I got off the air. Because listen, I understand we're in love with Aaron Judge right now. I totally get it. We're jumping on the bandwagon. But let's not be super non-realistic, right? Let's not be super non-realistic. Aaron Judge has been awesome last year, has having a great season this year. Hopefully he can continue it and show that the previous season, those injuries were just fluke injuries. They were muscle strains, they were muscle pulls. There were nothing that is too concerning. They weren't ACL tears, they weren't shoulder surgeries, it wasn't hip surgeries, none of that. So let's knock on wood. Let's understand what we have with Aaron Judge. Back up that Brinks truck, sign my guy, and let's enjoy the rest of the season. We have 40 games. Let's keep it going. Tonight we have Garrett Cole, our ace, on the mound. And then this is where Garrett Cole has to show that he's really the ace of this team. After a tough loss, after two games back-to-back where your starting pitchers only won 4 innings, this is where I need Garrett Cole to go 7 or 8 shutout innings tonight. I'm going to need you to dig deep down and show why you're our ace, guys. Come on, Cole. I have faith in you. But fellas, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, days and dumbs, people of all ages, it is that time. It is 11:50. We have our game later on tonight. I will be back tomorrow. Just a heads up, this Monday coming up, I'm going to have to take the day off of this Monday coming up for the simple fact of I have a little back procedure that I'm having. Just wanted to give you guys the advance head up. But I will be back tomorrow. We have a Yankee game tonight. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, share with your friends. Follow me on the social medias. If you got Instagram, Project Nerd HQ on Instagram. If you got Twitter, Yankees Morning Brew on Twitter. And like always, peace and love. And you degenerates, wake up and get your coffee.